Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. Hola, Abril. Hello. How are you? Very excited to be here. We're having some difficulties there with Abril, but we'll be right with her in a second. My name is Alfredo Deza. I'm joined here with Abril, and we are both a part of a group called Developer Advocates. We present, we teach, we do all kinds of different things. And today we're excited to be here to talk about GitHub certifications, how you can get prepared, how you can actually do some interesting work. We're going to have some demos ready for you. And there we go. Here we have Abril Ureña, who is going to tell us and give us a good introduction. Hi, Abril. How are you?
Hi, Alfredo. Thank you so much. I'm doing great. I'm super excited to be here with you and to see all the audience that is waiting, and super excited to be here to learn more about how to get prepared for the GitHub Foundation certification. So I'm super excited. So thank you, Alfredo. And also, please let's welcome Cynthia Zanoni. She's an amazing cloud advocate that she's going to be able to support us today to help you answer some of the questions about today's content. And today also, it's super important. We are live and it's going to be super interactive. You can ask us any questions. I'll be looking at the chat and also helping. If you have any questions, I'll be also sharing that to Alfredo, especially during our demo. And today, especially today, during this exercise that we were going to do, we will be talking about a lot of things, especially using GitHub Codespaces with GitHub Copilot. We will talk more about it later today, and how to build automation with GitHub Actions. So, and a quick reminder, this is the very first live session. We're going to have another 3 sessions on the upcoming weeks. So we will be sharing at the end of this live stream the information about the voucher codes and how you can get access to one. So please enjoy today's session, and we will be sharing more information about the vouchers later today at the end of the live stream. So that's it. And just a quick reminder that we have this amazing Cloud Skills Challenge that can also help you prepare with some of the topics that is going to be on the GitHub Foundation certificate. So that's one of the things that I wanted to share. And let's start. Let's go with Alfredo.
Thank you, Abril. And I see lots of people joining from all over the world: Brazil, Portugal, Ghana. I think I saw República Dominicana. I know a little bit Portuguese. Boa noite. So, hola, ¿cómo están? Thank you so much again for being here. I'm very excited to get started. Before I jump into the demo, I love doing hands-on demos. Kind of like the thing that I want to do today is, do things as if we were like in a real engineering team. We're going to be doing hands-on and kind of like what I would expect. I have several years doing software engineering, and I teach a little bit of programming languages as well. So I'll tell you, along with Abril, what does that look like? Like, what are we going to do? Like, you're getting started, like you're using GitHub. What are some of the things that, say, for example, a senior level software engineer will be looking at and wanting to do for a repository? And we'll try to identify those. Abril, I'm pretty sure that you found out a few repositories out there that are not very good, and you want to make some updates.
Yeah, sure. So let's see which one is it.
So let's jump into my screen, and I'll get started right here. So this is a very simple, straightforward repository. It's Python, but let's not worry about the thing that is Python. Okay, let's just like not care about Python. It could be any language you want. The core things that we're going to look today are things that you should be aware, and we're going to get these into better shape. All right, so we have this repository right here. The first thing I'm going to do, it's a repository that is open. Anyone can actually go to it. I am going to go ahead and fork this repository because I want to, so that's me. And I'm going to fork it to my to my username and my account, and then we're gonna work from there. That way, I'm not messing anything up for anyone. So I'm going to use these. So there we go. It's already forked. That means I have a copy in my account. So you can see now the details that, the details right here, and it's forked from Microsoft Travel Weather. So what it is, what do we have here? So if I was, uh, a software engineer and working on these, I would look at this and like, where's the documentation? Abril, what do you think about this documentation right here? That's
It's a
it.
lot.
That's
Yeah, that's like, it's not too much, to be honest, but it's interesting. Let's see, what files do we have there?
Yes, very good, Abril. So like the first thing that I would do also is like take a look at the files. We have a few files. I already kind of like gave it away, and yes, we're working with a Python project, but there's much to do. So the first thing we need to do is like do a little bit of a spelunking, like what's going on with these files. What are some of the things? So it is a Python file, and it seems that this one right here, this web app one, is interesting, and it has a few files. So let's take a look at the main.py. That seems kind of like the most important file there. And there's a few lines of code. I mean, 41 lines is not terrible. It doesn't look scary to me. So let's work through some of the details. And I know this might be like, oh my goodness, Alfredo, this is kind of boring, but it's important to understand what we're dealing with before trying to make some changes. So it is a Fast API application. Fast API is a web framework. Otherwise, we will need to do a lot of things manually. And then it seems like it's going to load some historical data, and it's going to list temperatures for different countries. So we have countries, and it has an open API schema, which we will look what that is. So pretty straightforward. There's a few routes, and then that's it. Abril, does this make sense to you? Like, I think we have just a few routes here.
Yeah, I think it looks interesting.
Cool. So we have an API. What's the next step? Like, what are some of the things that I would do? So the first thing that I want to do is, well, I want to make sure that this is in very good shape. So what I want to do is I want to run a linter. What is a linter? A linter is something that tells us, hey, by the way, you left a variable over here. You did something that's not quite right. And I'll show you how that works. And I'm going to run up a code space, a development environment in the cloud. Abril, you've done a little bit of work with Codespaces, right? Like while I go ahead and click this application, and which everyone in this live stream can actually do this today. They can actually click on code, and do you see Codespaces? I can create a Codespace on main and get started. So I'm gonna click that, and while that is loading, Abril, why don't you tell us about Codespaces and your experience with it?
Sure, if you want to, we can share actually real quick my screen while it's being created in Codespace, so I can give more information about it and my experience. Oh, great! It's now created. That's great. Well, just like, well, that's great. It's a real quick story, I promise. So just to give you more context, I had a situation where Codespaces saved my life, but because like one of the things that I wanted to share today is like I work a lot with students. So most of the time I also deliver some in-person events at universities. So real quick, it was like I had to deliver a presentation about shared static web apps and a university. And because of some unknown things, sometimes there was like some technical issues with my laptop and the connection to the TV. So I wasn't able to use my laptop, and I was like internally crying. To be honest, I was like, oh my God, why is this not working? I didn't understand because I tried everything at home. So the story is that I was trying to do everything, but it was mostly the connection. So I was talking to the teacher that was around there, and he was able to help me to share with, allowed me to use his laptop. And one of the things is that I was like, oh my God, but like I have all my content in my laptop, then how am I going to do this? Like, how am I going to share the demo, the slides and everything? Fortunately, the slides I was able to upload them on on the cloud, so that was fine. But the thing was, my project, the demo itself, the code, and I was like, oh my god, like what about if I submit it into open a GitHub repository and then I fork it in my personal account, my personal GitHub account. So that's what I did, and I was like, oh my god, but I didn't install anything. Like I didn't have VS Code or anything else on that teacher's computer, and I was like, but on my personal GitHub account, I had Codespaces. So I wasn't like super worried about it. Like I was like, oh my god. So
because all your files were
yeah,
in the code space, right?
yeah, all my files were in Codespaces, and I didn't have to worry about like configuring and installing things on the other teacher's laptop because, to be honest, it will have been a lot of time. So that's the story how Codespaces saved my presentations and slides. And thank you. So let's go back with Alfredo's.
Yeah, so I think that's an interesting perspective, Abril, because what happens, and I'll show you here my screen because it's already loaded. What happens at the end of the day is that you have this development environment in the cloud. It's Visual Studio Code, and all the files are there, and it's great. So I might walk away from my computer, kind of like the story that was happening with Abril, like, hey, where's my computer? Like, it basically does. Your computer doesn't matter because you can have these already on the cloud, and your files are not going to go anywhere. And so, and like I said, you have the ability to press that button, get the code, click on Codespaces, and you have Visual Studio Code on the browser and get started with it. So this environment has loaded. There's tons of different things. So let's go and understand exactly what is going on here. So right here we have the File Explorer. There's tons of files there. I'm gonna get that out of the way so we have a little bit more room. And in here we have the terminal. So a lot of different things are happening here. This is a Python application that is already set to run. And oh no, don't leave me alone. So this is actually a feature of Codespaces, which, like, if I leave it there for a second, because I was waiting for Abril to get her story while this was loading, and then, you know, if it's idle, it'll just like get the instance stopped. But in any case, it's a Python application. It has some code running. Things are set up, but we were talking about some linting. And while this thing is thinking about opening it up again, let's talk a second about what linting is. And linting is essentially you get like a helper. You know, like, you know, I've done Python for many years, but sometimes I'm not very good and forget things. Abril, have you ever forgotten things when you're writing Python? You write Python sometimes, right?
Sometimes I do write Python, but that's like my experience. When I forgot things, I use GitHub Copilot. So, yay.
Let's give this another nudge. And one thing that we can do, and this is actually a tip, you can say reload window, and this will reload the whole thing. And if this doesn't work, it will take a second. We can try again, or otherwise we can open it up in the Microsoft repo as well, which is all good. We have Abril, do you think Microsoft gives us permission to make changes to our repository?
Yeah, I think so. I think everything will be fine. Everything is fine.
Just to be extra careful, you know, sometimes things don't go well, and this is great because then I'll show you kind of like how I would go around it. Like, whenever you see demos that go 100% correct, everything's wonderful, everything's great, and be very suspicious. Maybe there's tricks behind the scenes. So let's try and launch another one. So I'm gonna say create, how about new with options? And then I show you how to do these with different options and what are the options that you have. So you have,
it will be great.
You can have select a different branch if you're using a different branch, different dev container configuration. Python 3 seems okay. Let's do something beefier, more. How about 8 cores and 32 gigs of RAM? Let's just make this. Well, no, actually, that's running on my account. So let's be more. Because this is not running on Microsoft and it's running on my account, it will consume my credits. So let's be a little bit more frugal and create another code space there. All right, so that's loading. Let's see if this one, this one doesn't like me anymore. So let's just wait it out. While that's waiting out, let's look at some of the potential problems that we may have with these repositories. So if you remember, that's my account. and this is travel weather. And let's take a look at some of the things behind the scenes. So you saw that did you see, Abril, that the web browser started and there was some configuration going on?
Mm-hmm.
Did you see, like, there's some special sauce in there, and we have special configuration files, and those files are right here in this .dev container. So there's two things that you can do here. You can configure the environment, and you can configure even the text editor. And the text editor, in this case, we can configure it in this file called devcontainer.json. I know this looks horrible because it's a lot of JSON, but let's take a look at some of the important bits and pieces. I would say this portion right here, it's pretty essential. Do you see kind of like the default interpreter path?
Mm-hmm.
This is a thing called a virtual environment that lives inside this container. Yes, I'm kind of like spoiling the surprise there. Everything is a container here. So, and we're automatically installing the Python extension, the pylons, and GitHub Copilot chat, which we're going to be using today. So you can install any extension there and customize that and get that going. Let's take a look at, well, this guy is, I don't think it's, we're gonna recover it. All right, this is actually working a little bit better. So let's start working on it. And the linter, it's something that would allow us to avoid forgetting things. So say, for example, we define a variable like my variable, and we say, you know, like an empty string, and then I save it. Oops. Then I save it like that. And then a linter would say, hey, you're defining this, but you are not using it. Like, you're not doing anything with it. So what I would do in order to check some of these things, I would install a linter extension. So I'm going to open up my terminal, open up a new terminal right here. So I think this is actually too small. So let me actually zoom in, because this is super, super small. Every time I open a window, I'll have to zoom in so that you guys all can like get a good view on what I'm trying to do. So I'm going to install Flake 8, which is a linter. It's a well-known linter. It doesn't matter what linter it is. It doesn't matter if it's Python or something else. You can install something else. And then if I do Flake 8 in here, you will get, and I'm going to get that out of the way, you will get all of those things. So look at that. So, and this is kind of like best practices. You know, expected 2 blank lines, I found 1, expected 2 blank lines after the class or function definition, no new line too long, all kinds of different things. So, you know, that's not very good. If I go back to the file that I was editing, I don't think I actually saved these. So let's save that. I think my variable shouldn't, yeah, it didn't pick it up, but it doesn't matter. So at the end of the day, like, let's actually do something even worse. Let's get a syntax error. So you see that squiggly underline? String literal is unterminated. That's not good. That's going to get us into trouble. Abril, have you ever made changes to a file and forgotten about things like I'm doing right now?
Yeah, I have.
So what's the deal with automation? Like, we want to build automation. We're protecting ourselves. We want to make sure that whenever we forget about things, those don't happen. So say, for example, all of these things. So I'll show you one way, which is using GitHub Actions. So note how I'm not making actual changes yet to the repository. What I want to do first is to make sure I have some automation going. So what that automation is going to do is going to report on these things when I'm being silly and I'm not making those changes go away. So how about we do that? But let's just assume that I have like, oh man, I don't really know how to go about this. I think maybe GitHub Actions, but where do I put some files? How do I get these configured? So GitHub Actions is a thing that would allow me to do some automation. So I'm going to go to GitHub Copilot, which I already have installed. GitHub Copilot can work right on the code, or you have this chat interface. Abril, do you have a preference on which one do you like better? Do you like better the chat, or you like better not the chat?
Sometimes I use mostly the inline chat, but these days I have been using more the chat, to be honest.
Inline chat. So like Abril is like telling us a little bit about some of the interesting things. An inline chat is like if you can do these, and I press Control-I on Windows or Command-I on the Mac, and then you can ask Copilot about stuff. Now, for the things that we want to do today, I want to ask something more generic and go from there. So let's use the AI powers from GitHub Copilot to try to get some automation going on here. How are we going to do this? Well, let's be very specific. If we're not specific, this is not going to work. So I want to say, I want to build some automation in this project. How about we even, I know it's going to detect it is Python, but let's just make sure it understands. In this Python project, and I want to use GitHub Actions, and I misspelled GitHub, but it's okay. Yeah, I want to use GitHub Actions to do some linting automatically on every pull request, and we'll see what those pull requests are. And every pull request, and notify me right away. Let's see what we get. So GitHub Copilot is going to analyze what's going on, what the file that I have open is, and it's going to provide me an explanation. So not only just giving me what I need, but giving me kind of like guiding me through what I need to do, which is great because I'm as a teacher. This is actually pretty useful. It's not just getting the right answer. So it tells me that I'm going to need a file, and that file is going to be a YAML file. Perfect. It is going to need to go into a path, which I don't have here, which is .github/workflows-lint.yaml. Perfect. So let's go ahead and create that, and let's see where we land. So let's open up the Explorer. We are going to need a new directory. It's going to be .github/workflows. And where are we? Web app. This is not creating what I wanted. Let's try again. .github. Let's refresh. It seems like it didn't like me. There we go. Something happened. Oh, I created it in the. I created this in the wrong. Let's delete this. I created this in the wrong path. I needed to do it. Do you know where I need to do this, Abril? I messed up here.
Okay.
Do you know?
No.
No.
I'm like,
I need to do it at the top level. So I had selected web app. That's why this did it incorrectly. So now there we go. GitHub.github/workflows. Right. So there we go. So now I have this, and in here I need to create a file called lint.yaml. All right. So yeah, no, I don't want to install anything there. Let's just get rid of that. So now we have an empty file. But GitHub Actions was not GitHub Actions. Like Copilot Chat was giving us a lot of interesting stuff right here, right? Abril, can you ever remember how to write a YAML file correctly?
No, definitely no.
It's kind of tricky. It is kind of tricky. So let's take a look. So we have this thing here, right? So one option is 100%. You can select these, copy it, paste it, and be done with it. But there's a neat feature, which is this button right here, this one, insert at cursor. So that means that wherever my cursor is right here, it will just grab all of the contents right here and put them right where my cursor was. So let's do that and see what happens. Boom. Okay, great. So that looks amazing. And let's walk through some of the things that are happening. So first off, we have a name. This is useful because we're going to be able to identify what's going on and kind of like where is this, if we have 20 of these things, we need to have something that tells me exactly what it is. If you have something that says, run or build, like once you have more than one, you're not going to know which one is it. Okay, so when are we going to run it? We're going to run it whenever there's a pull request. Paths is optional. This is going to run if there's any changes to pipe. But how about we just like just take that out. You can specify on what branches. I'm not going to specify anything. I'm just going to leave it on any pull request to any branch. Doesn't matter. Just run. Next, it's going to run on Ubuntu, which is an operating system. It's going to check out the code, which is important, right? We need the code to check. Then it's going to set up Python. It's going to use Python 3.8. That looks fine. It's going to install the dependencies, and it's going to lint with Flake 8. Perfect. And it's going to run Flake 8, just kind of like what I was doing. Basically, what I was doing in the terminal, the manual stuff, that's what's going to happen automatically. So I'm going to save these. And I am going to go to the source control, and I'm going to add my lint.yaml file. And I'm going to say, have you seen this button? Like, this is something that I want to show today. Have you used this button before, Abril? Do you see that?
No, but it's kind of related to Copilot, isn't it?
Yes. Yes. Let's see. What do you guys think will happen if I click on that button?
Magic.
Let's click. Let's click and see what happens. Look at that.
Yay.
So GitHub Copilot behind the scenes is like, something happened and some changes are going to go through. Let's see what happens. It's like, I'm adding a Python linting workflow. Yes, 100%. So I'm going to click commit and push. Okay. No, I don't want to run git fetch. Thank you so much. So yeah, so things in the code space are there. What is going on with my repository? So I'm back in the repository. I'm going to open travel weather, and I should be seeing now that we're one commit ahead. And who added that? It's just these guys here now. And you can see my message is there. Whoa, too much zoom. Add Python linting. There we go. So we're good, but there's no pull request. So now let's make a change and open a pull request, and let's see what happens. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my code space. Let's just leave this alone. Let's go to main.py. And yeah, so let's actually, it says it's, I added, remember that variable that I added, Abril? Did I actually remove it? Do you remember?
I don't think so.
I think I did, yeah. But it says it's modified. It doesn't matter. Let's just add it. And we are going to, actually, we should do this into a new branch. How about, because otherwise, if we're making pushes have you ever pushed to the main branch, Abril? Like, what do you think about pushing to the main branch?
Like, I'll be 100% honest. I have, but it's not a good practice, to be honest. I started to learn that once you start gaining more practice, it's better to have a separate branch. So
yeah, it's kind of like having something that you might get into trouble. Like if let's just use a different branch, and then will you take it from there? The reason why is because main branch is kind of like your ideal state. This is the one that you can go to production. You can, it's the product that is finally working, and everything else is just for proposed changes. So it gives us a good way that we can actually get that going. So let's see if it figures out removed and use code. Yeah, sure, good enough. So commit and push. So this is pushing to the remote branch. Yes, I want to publish this branch. This is going to go to origin, which is my account. It's not going to the Microsoft one. Would you like to create a pull request? Yes, actually. How about that, Abril? What do you think will happen if I create a pull request?
Someone will have to review your changes. So
yes. How about you review my pull request? How about we do that? So let's create pull request. Oh no, like how about let's just do this on the web browser. That way it's more. Yeah, there we go. So this is the thing that GitHub does. So once you push, you will get something like this, and it's like, yeah, sure, I want to create a pull request. Let's create a pull request. How about we do fixes to main.py? I think this PR is fixing some issues in main.py. So Not a very good description. Oh, it's actually doing that. I thought it had. Oh, no. I don't want to. Do you see this? This is a problem. Do you see this? It's going to the Microsoft repository.
Oh no.
I don't want to go. I don't want, like, do you think our boss would get upset, Abril, if we if we're sending stuff?
Maybe.
Maybe. So no, we want to use, there we go. So we want to use my main branch from my repository. There we go.
Yay.
So it would be only, so there we go. So it's just only removing one line.
Okay.
Let's create the pull request, and Abril is going to do the review. All right. So checking for ability, require approval. That sounds so good. Oh, what happened there? What is this? Where is this coming from, Abril?
GitHub Actions. Whee.
Yes. GitHub Actions. Do you see that? We have automatic verification. I mean, hopefully we get some sort of automatic verification. So what's going on here? So someone like Abril says, hey, I want to, and it's failing after 8 seconds. This is terrible. So what's going on? So Abril comes in and sees a big red X. She's going to be like, Alfredo, how many years were you doing this Python thing? I don't think this is very good. You need to go and fix stuff. So if you were reviewing this, Abril, I'm guessing that perhaps here on details, what do you think?
Yeah, definitely. It will show something that we need to look for. That was the mistake.
Let's take a look. All right. So perfect. So we run Inflate, and do you see all of these steps right here? So you have set up the job, check out the code, set up Python, install the dependencies. But this is the automation that we're looking for. This is what is going to make us allow us to build a more robust project at the end of the day. This is what's interesting. Great. So we have several different things. How about this one? We have main.py, expected 2 blank lines and found 1, another one for 38, another one for line 40, line 80, it's too long, and no, this is actually test main.py is line 15 and the 80th character, and the other one, it's no new line. So there's tons of different things. So why is this useful? Because now what I can do is actually see that, and Abril says, remember what Abril said? Abril said, like, no bueno. She said, no good. So let me go ahead and fix. How about we go and fix? So let's make a mental note. 19, 38, and 40 for main.py. Right? So 19. So I want to do this again. There we go. 19. So what it's saying here is that I need 2 lines. 19, what was the other one? 38 and 40. But now that the lines are going to be changed, right? 38. Right, so this one, and then no, this one, this 1938 and 40. I think that looks correct. Maybe like here. So I'm not entirely sure, right? So I'm gonna save these. I'm gonna go to my source control. I'm gonna add these. I'm gonna say adding fixes from Abril's review. And I'm going to say commit and push. That way it goes over. And do you know what's going to happen? What do you think is going to happen, Abril? These are pull requests.
Yeah, it's going to update the pull request changes.
So now I have 2 commits. One is my remove unused code, and the other one is fixes from Abril's review. And do you see how this got triggered? Now it's failing again. So let's do like Abril would say. Let's go to details to find out more. And look at that. So now we have less, right? We have less. We still have 1 on main.py. What else do we have, Abril, here?
Oh, that's a great question. I'm seeing an error with the exit code one. So
we have this guy,
yeah.
and this. So you're looking at this, which is the process completed with exit code. So this is what allows GitHub Action to report to us. Like whenever there's a non-zero exit status, it will say, no, not good. We need to check something. And the thing that we need to check is not this one. it is this thing at the very top. So we have 3 things pending. 1 in main.py and 2 on test main.py. So let's fix those. How about that? Main.py line 43, no new line at end of file. So that's pretty straightforward. So I'm going to close this one like this. So what it wants is this. That's it. That's what it wants. And it said it wanted something on test main.py. Ooh, look at that. Very, very long, very long lines. So far we're making some changes. We're not really destroying the application, right? Like we're just trying to make sure that things are right. So I'm gonna remove the Explorer, and if I believe it's both line 15, no new line, and line too long. Okay, so we can use, sometimes there's different ways that you can do this. So in Python, you could do something, for example, like this, right? And you could do this, but this is kind of repetitive. So instead of doing that, I'm going to use Abril's suggestion. Do you remember what your suggestion was last time with GitHub Copilot?
Do you see the inline chat?
Inline, yes. So let's do Copilot. Help me get these reformatted into less than 80 characters. Please. We need to ask please sometimes, because otherwise GitHub Copilot, there we go. So I think that looks kind of correct. So we can accept or either discard these. So let's just do accept. Let's just make sure that this is under. So this is not, do you see that? That's not under 80 characters. So we can actually just say this. This line is still too long. Help me reformat it nicely and with less longer lines. So let's see if this. There we go. So that's kind of okay, I guess, and we can accept that. So let's look at that. So that's actually. Do you see that? That number, that 77, means that that's as long as it goes. So I think that looks great. So I'm going to save that. This is saved. Let's go to source control. Do the same dance again. We're going to add this. Press our magical button. No, this is not quite what we wanted, right? Other fixes for linter based on Abril's review. Commit and push, like before. There we go. We're adding automation. We're fixing things. We're going to reload these. We now have that commit right here. Do you see the 2 X's right there? One there and the other one here.
Yep.
That is telling me that the automation run. So now this thing is running in progress. It is running and it's doing some checks. And we're verifying that this is good to go. We're almost there. We're almost there trying to get this into good shape. And we're failing again. Why are we failing? This should be now like good to go. Test main.py is still too long. How is that possible? I could swear. Oh, it was line 15. Right? Was it?
I think so.
That's this one. Did I save these? I thought I saved these. Why is this? Oh, I didn't save. Otherwise, he wouldn't see that. So that's the problem. It didn't pick on that changes. So let's just do. Let's not do fancy anymore. Let's do fixes and let's be lazy. Commit and push. Go back here. Go back to our repository. Now this is taking us what? 4 commits, fixes is there. Now it's running. What do you think, Abril? Do you think we will get there?
I hope so. I think so. Like it, yeah.
Let's be optimistic. I mean, we need to make this, or otherwise our boss is not going to get us a bonus this year. No.
I know. No.
So let's take a look. Let's take a look. Okay, so we're down to 1. Test main.py 17 doesn't have a new line. Okay, sure. So there goes your new line, buddy. and we're going to add new line, and we're going to add this file, commit and push, and we're going to verify that everything is now back again. So this is actually, you might be wondering, there's a lot of back and forth. Is this really useful? And, whenever you're relying on automation, whenever you're making use of tools like this one to do the verification for you, otherwise, look at that. Everything passed. Good job, Abril. Abril, if it wasn't for Abril, like, this wouldn't be passing, because she was like, listen, you have a failing check here. This is not good. You're making changes and this is not good. So this gives you confidence. And this gives you the ability to say, well, I'm going to concentrate on some of the other things that I'm seeing that are changing here so that I can try to make this better with confidence, that I'm not messing anything up. And you can add other checks. What other checks do you think we could add here, Abril, to this file?
That's a good question.
If you were in charge of a repository, what other things would make you feel better if you're seeing something like this and someone's making changes?
I'll be also including someone to help to review the pull request, like automatically, like if you have some maintainers, I'll do that too.
Yeah, having multiple people take a look at your changes is definitely something super useful. Now, one thing is that I didn't mention was kind of like doing more automation, but there's other things that you can do here. You can do testing. I mean, we can try and do testing and add another one. I think, let's take a look here. I think we have a requirements.txt. It installs some of the dependencies here. So we could add, how about we do that? Let's ask GitHub Copilot chat, and we say, perfect, this worked very well. Now help me get one for testing with PyTest. I'm kind of cheating here because I know it's with PyTest, but I'm guessing that Copilot will be smart enough to tell that it's PyTest as well. I want another YAML file for GitHub Actions to do some testing for every pull request. There we go. So sure, you can create a separate GitHub Actions. Perfect. It's suggesting that I create a new file. It's going to be installing requirements.txt. Let's take a look. So set up everything. Now it installs the requirements.txt. Perfect. And it just runs PyTest. So how about we do that? And we are going to have to create another file here. So in workflows, testing, I think testing was, it doesn't matter the name, as long as you have something that is meaningful. We're going to do our little trick here to put all of that stuff in there. I'm going to save that. I'm going to go to source control. And I know I'm going a little bit fast. Feel free to interrupt me if you have any questions. But the thing is that if I don't go fast, I'm not going to be able to show you everything that I have to show you. It's not going to be as interesting as if I go super slow. Add Python test workflow. Let's do commit and push. And let's see if that triggers this something new. So let's wait a second. Look at that.
Yay.
So remember, Abril, when I was saying that the names at the very top are kind of important if you have many? This is the name. Do you see that? The lint and the test. This one comes from our YAML file. This one, oh, look at that. All tests have passed. Now, let's just make a break, because if everything's passing, let's not believe anything that we see. So let's go to test main.py and say, you know what? How about let's put another country here that I like. Let's do Mexico. Yes, and we save it and we do that. Great. I know that the API doesn't have that, so we can say at Mexico, and we're going to say commit and push, and let's see what happens. So we're going to go back here. Do you see checking for ability? And this is going to trigger again the GitHub action. And then we should see a failure, I think. What do you think, Abril?
I hope no.
Yeah, no. So the thing is that I think it will fail because I don't think we have the linter. So see how we went. We're going. I mean, you might think we're going backwards, but if let's say Abril is my software lead, my software engineer lead, and she's saying, "Well, Alfredo, you needed to add Mexico," and like, "Where's Mexico?" And I'm like, "Well, I didn't add Mexico, so like, hey, here you go. I added Mexico," and she could be looking at this and say, "No, you're not doing a very good job here." So, what do you think is not working well, Abril? What would you do?
I think I'll go like the same thing we did like some minutes ago to look into details,
Yes,
so we can learn
yes,
more about it.
100%. So let's take a look at the details. And having things separate, it's nice.
Mhm.
So we can see here that the expectation. So this is the actual problem. Do you see the real that there's still the exit code one?
Yeah.
So let's not worry about that. This is what we need to pay attention to. And right here it says the test failed because when I'm comparing things, I have Mexico, and Mexico is not there. So what is the deal? So like full div, Mexico is here, but it shouldn't be because I mean the expectation is broken. So let's fix that. Let's see what I just added Mexico, and like why is it failing? Don't fail. So if I wanted Mexico in there, I would need to go and do some spelunking. Now I'm gonna give it away and go a little bit fast because we are almost out of time, and I wanna open it up for questions as well. So I'm gonna go to weather.json, and do you see these are the temperatures: England, France, Germany, Berlin, Peru. So we could add something like right here. We can say Mexico, right? And I'm not gonna add every single month. Actually, we can make use of GitHub Copilot. Do you see? Look at this. Did you see that?
Mhm.
Isn't that magical? So this is a thing that GitHub Copilot can do, where it looks at kind of like what you're editing, and it will be like, maybe Alfredo wants to add temperatures for every single month for the high and the low. And yes, this is exactly what I want. So I'm gonna accept this with hitting tab. This looks pretty good. I'm gonna save that. And I'm going to go here. I'm gonna say, yes, I've modified. It'll probably say I added Mexico. See, add weather data for Mexico City. Code changes include adding weather data for Mexico City where it is. Perfect. So commit and push. Great. And let's go here to this guy. And now we triggered again. This type of back and forth is actual. Again, it might seem a little bit cumbersome, but it relies on external verification that allows us to be better engineers because we are relying on something else to tell us, hey, you're doing really good. So this is still failing, which is a major bummer. So let's take a look. So now we have an ordering problem. Do you see that?
Mhm.
So do you see that minus and that plus?
Mhm.
That means that like I have to swap them over.
Yep.
So it should be, do you see how this is sorted? So that's a problem with the test as well, because the test should be smarter. So do you see that call to sort it? I should have, so I have two paths here. I can go and sort this out so that it's in order, in alphabetical order, or I can sort it myself manually. What would your preference be, Abril, here? Would you sort it like in your brain and make the change, or would you call this function? I don't
I'll
think there's a right or wrong response, but I do have a preference. I want to know what yours is.
I'll try the second option.
Sort
To
it
the function. Yep.
or call the function.
Call
Yeah,
the
because
function.
I agree with these because at the end it's less things that you need to think about. Like tomorrow I'm gonna come and like have this out of place. I don't. This is silly. There's a function. Let the function do the work. So all we need to do here is say sort it and go away. And I don't want to read the documentation. So I'm gonna save these and I'm going to add the changes, right? and push. But just in case, let's take a. How about we take a look at the linter so that we
Okay.
can fix that too. Trailing white space in test main.py. So let's go back here. Trailing. So trailing white space means that I have extra space. Do you remember where it said? It said on line 16, character 50. So right. Do you see it? It's this guy. It doesn't like that. So I'm going to remove that, save that, and then commit and push. We can do this. There we go. Refactor test. Yes. Yes. GitHub Copilot. That is exactly what I'm doing right here. All right. Once more. So I think with this, we should be really good to go. What do you think, Abril? Do you think we'll make it work this time?
I think so.
All right. And if this works, we can call it, we can end our session today. And while this is running, oh no, how is this possible? The linters is still saying no. Well, the tests are working now. So good job, Abril. Right call on the sorted. Let's take a look at the linter. Trailing white space again. Did I save that? Let's see. I didn't save it, I think. Yeah. Yeah, and if it doesn't work, it's fine. Refactor, yeah, kind of refactoring. Not quite, but sure. All right, last one, and then we can call it the day. What do you think about this process, Abril? Do you think, like, if you were both on the reviewing side as well as on the building side?
I think in the reviewing side, I think it's a great idea and an opportunity to use GitHub Actions and everything that we have been sharing, especially because it helps you to have everything automated. But when you're building stuff, it's sometimes a bit tricky. But when you have everything created, it's like, wow, this is amazing.
Awesome. All right. Well, we managed to get it passing. We made it work. We added some automation. We identified some things that we needed to work on. We messed up a test. We figured out what the test was. We fixed it. We thought we fixed it. Then the test was failing because we got it out of order. We fixed that. And we used GitHub Copilot to help us out. So we've used several different features. We've used pull requests. We are reviewing GitHub Actions, GitHub Codespaces, and we're using, what else? I'm missing something. GitHub Copilot chat, GitHub Copilot inline chat, and using suggestions to fix all of that. So I think that's pretty good. If you follow these patterns, remove the fact that this is Python, add any language that you want, any framework you want, this pattern still applies. And I think it's going to make you a better engineer. All right, Abril, do we have some questions?
Yeah, I think we have tons of questions. But will it be possible if you could share the repository link on the chat?
Yes, 100%. Well, we can actually go ahead and do github.com Microsoft, and we're going to use travel weather. This is the actual repository, and let's put this on chat right there, so anyone will be able to get to that. Very good. All right. Any other things?
Yes, we do have one question. Actually, if you can see, if someone's looking actually right now at the right now, we have posted the repository link, so you can use it whenever you like. All these live sessions are going to be recorded on the Microsoft Reactor YouTube channel, and you can watch it whenever you would like to see it. So that's one of the things that is related to one question. And yeah, and we have also great people that are super interested on GitHub Codespaces. I think we can share later, especially because of timing. An article we actually Alfredo wrote about GitHub Codespaces and how you can set up, especially if you're a student or anything. one quick fun fact about Codespaces is like if you can use Codespaces 60 hours for free, just up to a month, I think. Is it right,
Yeah,
Alfredo?
anyone can come in here and click on the code button and say, "Hey, I want to use Codespace," and you can see here potential eureka, and yeah, so you can stop it, you can delete it, you can do all kinds of different things. But yes, anyone. And if you're a student, you get even more a more free quota, which is actually pretty good. Now, because it's the end, because we're at the end of this session, Abril have something cool to share.
Yeah.
How about you share some of the good stuff, Abril? A lot of people are here for this special something that we're going to give them away.
Sure, definitely. Please just sharing this quick reminder. Please join the GitHub challenge. This can help you get prepared for the GitHub Foundation certification, especially. It can help you to prepare with a few topics that may appear in the certificate. And now let's talk about the vouchers. So I know you all are super excited about the vouchers and stuff. We will be sharing a link that contains all the steps that you need to do in order to redeem your voucher code, which I will be sharing right now, actually. So prepare. Here is part of the steps in the chat. We'll be sharing each one of the steps, and especially the registration site where you would need to do all these steps that you see here.
Make sure you read these. If you don't read these, you're gonna get it out of order. So make sure you follow these steps that Abril is sharing.
And please make sure that during the checkout process on the PSI testing site, you'll encounter a designated field where you can enter the voucher code to zero the balance. So this is super important so you can redeem your free voucher code. And now let's continue.
Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Yes, I think
Because,
everybody's ready.
okay, great. So here's the code, and here is actually the steps you can follow as well as a reminder. These voucher codes are on a first come first serve basis, so please go ahead and follow the steps that are also on the here on the QR code or on the short link as well, and use the following code that we are sharing here on the screen.
This is first come first serve. That means that we don't have a gazillion vouchers. So make sure you take a look at these, get it as soon as possible, and as many as you can get them. Great. If you're unlucky, well, make sure you join on the other sessions because we're gonna be sharing other coupons, other vouchers for the certifications from the other sessions. Thank you so much. I'm excited. Again, my name is Alfredo Deza, and I was super happy to give you a session, an overview on GitHub Copilot, GitHub Actions, GitHub Repository, GitHub Pull Requests, and GitHub Codespaces. Hopefully, you're happy, you learned something, and that you get to use that voucher.
Yeah, definitely. Please, everyone, feel free to register and join the next sessions. We will be sharing more voucher codes on the following sessions. So please join. And thank you all for joining. I do hope you all have learned a lot today with Alfredo and myself. So thank you.